Hello, welcome to Awakening with Soulspirational. My name is Tish, and today I welcome you to our Soulful Sunday. A couple times a month on Sundays we get together for fellowship. Somebody has an issue that they've been grappling with lately. We lovingly support them, we talk to them, encourage them. We also discuss a topic each week, and today's topic is choices. So I'm really excited about having you at home kind of sit in with us and see part of at least what we do on Soulful Sundays. So with that, choices. So I was thinking last night about how throughout any given day, we have so many different choices. From the small and the mundane, do I sit and watch TV or do I get up and do the dishes? To the larger issues of, should I get married? Should I have children? What school system should I put the kids into? But then we have so many issues that I think are kind of life choices that we may not even be aware of the choices that we're making in the moment, because they may seem incidental in that particular moment in time. For example, if Rick and I, which wouldn't happen, but if Rick and I started to have a disagreement about something, and maybe it felt like it was escalating into an argument, right then and there, we have a choice. Do we de-escalate, or do we continue and maybe escalate that particular confrontation or conversation? At any moment, each and every one of us have a choice that we get to make. Do we stand down? Do we walk away? Just as an example, sometimes, with the law of attraction, we are asking for things, we're manifesting things into our lives. When we do, we are opening ourselves up for that to come in. And we may see things packaged in a particular way, but then the universe brings it to us just in different packaging. And we don't realize that actually what we've asked for is coming to us. It looks a little bit different. And in that moment, we're quick to bat it away. The choice was to bat whatever this was away. So I'm just prefacing today's topic with that. So I just want to jump in, share how you feel about choices, what comes to mind when you think about them.
Well, a lot of what you do choose could make a difference in somebody's life, as far as, if you, like you were mentioning, if we were to argue, if you choose to escalate, you could say stuff that could be very harmful. And if you de-escalate, if you just think, what, is this really that important? Do I really need to do this?
I think just, being mindful of, your feelings, but also the feelings of others, to make sure that, because you can't take back words,
No.
Like you said. I think that, and as far as like daily choices, like you were saying, like, oh, I could sit on the couch all day, or I could get up and clean, or I could go and do this and this and this. Finding ways in life to remain motivated and finding like things like to make you happy so that those choices are a little bit easier.
You said it to me like a question?
No.
So,
What is?
it's a statement. So,
Yeah.
And I guess that's part of the reason for today's topic too, is maybe to become more aware of the choices that we've been making, or to become more aware of when something comes our way, how are we going to respond? What choices are we going to make? Are they the best for me? Are they the best for you? And when you were talking about how we hurt, sorry, I wasn't being rude when I was writing, I don't want to forget the point.
Right.
Hurting other people's feelings, because then that makes me want to jump into the topic of responsibility. So I'm going to table that particular topic for later, because that's a really big thing, taking responsibility. But when we stay on, so for the topic of choices, can you guys think, and you don't have to share this on TV, but can you maybe go back and think about some of the choices that you made at the time that you didn't think were anything particularly spectacular, but in hindsight you can see where maybe if you would have taken another path, that things would have been different. And this isn't about a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it's about becoming more aware of choices.
I think if we think about it that way, that kind of also opens it up to, you know, this, it's a bit Hallmark, but destiny. If something's meant to happen, you know, is it going to happen? Even if we choose this, if it's meant for our life path, you know, eventually will we make it there? So that's another question. I mean, how do you all feel about destiny? If something's meant to happen for you, it will? Or do you believe that it's a series of choices and it will only come if you make the so-called right choices? How do we feel about that?
I think that, you know, everyone has their life purpose and their divine plan.
Yeah.
But because we also have free will, you know, we have the opportunity to make choices that maybe it will put us on our path a little later in life. Maybe it will put us there directly. But I do think that the universe is going to push you towards your divine purpose regardless of when and where you are in life. But you know, I think that we do have the choice to maybe fall off of our divine path for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, but hopefully we find our way back to it.
This is actually the purpose and the point of this topic.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe, and I think it was Tony Robbins who somebody talking about like the GPS of life. Over the years I've kind of thought about it as the bumper guards bowling, that, you know, we get so much latitude. We get to walk our path, we get to make our choices, and then the universe will kind of come up and kind of nudge us back on our path, and we've gotten off of our path to kind of remind us. And that is it. When the universe is kind of nudging us back, because ultimately I do believe in destiny, but if somebody, at each time that, again, just my feelings of it, each time that the universe is kind of nudging us, sometimes very gently, I think other times a little harder, those are the moments. Are we paying attention to the choices we're making right then in our lives? Are we going to, because we do have free will, to say, you know what, just stop nudging me. I'm going to continue down this road, or are we going to go to a place where we want to actually follow what our soul's purpose is? So thank you for bringing that out, because that really was the energy of this. And I'm sorry, I know you're going to say something.
Yeah, just kind of segueing off of that, you know, I've noticed, you know, just in my life, the universe will keep, you know, if it's something that we're meant to learn for our soul's journey and it requires a choice that we'll have to make, the universe will keep bringing it around to us, and sometimes if it's a hard choice, you know, we can try and quiet it in our mind, but if it's something that we need to do for the betterment of our souls, the universe will keep bringing it back till it's so loud you can't ignore it anymore, that you have to confront this and make a decision. And, you know, yeah, that's something that I
absolutely
definitely wrestle with. It's just like, you know, things start out, they're kind of a whisper, you know, to see, are you hearing this? Are you going to be receptive to these choices that I'm putting in front of you for your own betterment? But if you know, kind of let fear get in the way, you kind of quiet them down, but eventually they will come back where you can't ignore them.
Yeah.
There was times where I didn't want to do something, and there's this little voice in my head that kept saying, go ahead, try it anyway. Boy, I'm glad I did. You know,
I think we should talk about fear in choices for a second. You know, and how to get past that initial fear of maybe jumping in and finally making that that choice.
You have to embrace it.
Right.
I think you really have to embrace it because, I think in, all this modern self-help books, people, a lot of people say, I mean, the intention is good, I'm not disowning any of them, but they say, ignore your fear, move past your fear. You really can't, because we're human, and, fear is also a way that we survive, if we're going down a street, do we go down this safe, just walking down a path, do we go down this safe path or do we go down the dark alley? Something in our head says that's dangerous, don't go. So fear, we're never going to eradicate that. It's about learning to live with your fear and proceed anyway. I mean, here's an example like Lucille Ball, who we all know from I Love Lucy. She, with her television show, I Love Lucy, nothing like that had ever been done before, that 3-camera format. She was just going out into the unknown, and, I've read so many biographies of her where, she just questioned her decision. What are we doing? Nobody's ever done this before, but could you imagine if, she would have let the doubts that I'm sure were playing in her mind that this is impossible, we wouldn't have, I think, one of the greatest television shows of all time, or, that her show set the groundwork for future sitcoms that is still followed to this day. It's, just kind of bringing it back to what I said, it's about not trying to eradicate fear, because it's always going to be there. Just, I'm afraid, I don't know how this is going to end out, but I'm going to put my trust in a higher power and know that I'm guided, that even if I so-called fail, I will still survive. Failure is not the end. We talked about making choices, and I think it's so sad that, people after a certain age say, I'm not allowed to make choices anymore because, something that I'm wrestling with. I'm 29, in a few months I'm going to be 30. I'm like, oh my goodness, 30's coming up. I'm going to have it all figured out. I'm going to have to be set in a plan. I'm not allowed to, dream anymore. I'm not allowed to pursue my passions because it's 30. This is a serious time.
Who told you that?
So make those, I don't know.
Get those voices. I suggest getting those voices.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just societal,
Society
that
teaches
30
you
you're you're an official adult now. You're not 20 anymore, you are 30, you are an adult. So you gotta make choices now and you're gonna have to just live with for the rest of your life. You can't say, but I'd also like to try this, I'd also like to choose to try this, and you can, and I think that's sad. I mean, when people say, I don't have any other choices, you do. You always have a choice to choose again, to try again. I mean, the same thing's for relationships. We get into a relationship, this is the best for me, this is all that I deserve, even if we know it might not be good for us. Choose again, choose something different, or a career, I don't enjoy this. I mean, it's hard, I know, because we've got, those responsibilities, food, clothing, and shelter, but do it a little bit, make small choices toward the direction that you want to go.
Well, and I think too, putting yourself in the mindset of, what if this does work out? What if I do get everything that I'm looking for? What if, for some unknown reason, it actually works?
Exactly.
That kind of thing. And, something that I saw too recently, actually, that kind of resonated with me was, you have survived 100% of your darkest days. You're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
You're still here. Everything you've gone through hasn't killed you yet.
Yeah.
So, that right there, it's like, just keep moving. Just keep,
And I would say too, with choices, to just kind of piggyback off that most of us can look back over life and regret some of the choices that we've made. But we're still here.
When you have to think about what those choices led to.
Well, and also whatever the learning lessons were that maybe we needed to learn on our journey, so we can recognize them on this new path that we're on. So we're learning the lessons in those as well for those choices. So maybe we can make better choices.
But guess what? It never stops.
No, it doesn't.
It just keeps going on because, no matter how old you are, you're always going to have that fear. You're always going to have that choice. But it's just, sometimes you just got to take a great leap of faith and just know it's going to work out. All of us have probably fell on our face 1,000 times.
And you get back up.
Yeah.
And to me, failure isn't an option, but as long as we have gained something, we've learned something in that perceived failure, then it isn't a failure at all.
Right.
We've gained, we've learned. Therefore, it really is on some level a success, even if you know it's something you never want to do again. So I think we can be harsh in judging ourselves with failure, fear of just jumping out there. When you first started to talk about the fear of making choices, that's a big thing for each and every one of us. And maybe we need to keep avoiding the journey until we find enough strength to overcome that fear, to say, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. And
what's good for you might not be good for somebody else.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you can't let other people, unless and you got to use some common sense. But if somebody's telling you, well, you shouldn't do this, why can't I do this? Is it because you don't want me to do this?
Yeah, that's kind of like not letting other people's fear affect your own choices. That's tough. I mean, because sometimes, it's very well,
Yeah.
sometimes it's very well meaning, It might come from a family member, there's a choice that you want to make. I want to move to this city, I want to pursue this job, I want to go to this school, and they might be trying to dissuade you. It's coming from a good place because they want to protect you. They don't want you to get hurt. That can sometimes happen if you decide to make a big decision, but it's like at the end of the day, I think it takes some self-reflection, listening to people's concerns, because they're valid, and sometimes if it's coming from family, it's very sincere, but at the end of the day, I think only you truly know in your soul what's right for you. Other people can't live your life for you.
Ultimately trusting your inner self.
Yeah.
And knowing that you have the answers to your questions readily available to you. You just have to seek them.
And you are the only person responsible for your soul's growth and evolution.
Yes.
Exactly.
My mantra. And when we can take on the guidance or the suggestions from friends or family, loved ones about whatever decision we're going to make. And I think that if we aren't careful, that we can get sucked into other people's fears, as opposed to making our own choices, doing what we're doing today, starting this. It was a lot of fear of what ifs and the unknowns and is it possible, and saying, you know what, I know this is what I want to do and I'm doing it.
But just kind of going what Corey said, which I really love, what if? What if I am successful? What if this turns out to be great? Because so many times we only play the other what if in our brain. What if I fail? What if this ends a disaster? Like I said earlier, don't try and eradicate the what if I fail, because that's going to be there. But if also you can also entertain the notion of what if I'm also successful, because so many people only listen to that other side of it, what if I fail, but also what if this works out.
And I think there's a deeper meaning in that as well, because then we can go the next step, because what if I'm successful and this happens, whatever that success means in your own mind, and then you start hearing, no, you don't deserve it. You're not worthy of that. Because then you can be in that moment of, oh, this would be great, but I don't deserve that. So that we can take those moments to, who are those voices telling us that we don't deserve?
Those are voices from your past.
But it's up to that individual in that moment. Is that, where's that coming from?
But I think
dispelling that.
Yeah, dispelling that, and then visualizing, well, okay, if it does work out, seeing yourself in that scenario, seeing where your life, will go, and having that vision set in your mind, I think really helps with that. you know, too. Like, what if I make it big and become this, you know, great star, and then it's like, oh, well, I'll have this beautiful home, and then I'll have this, you know, and I'll be so happy with my life and everything that I wanted, and I think visualizing and, you know, seeing all that helps.
And you know where that brought me? When you were saying, and then I'm going to have this big house, blah, 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 all the things that stardom can bring you. But, and this is a little bit deeper for this conversation, but wherever we go, there we are. So whatever we're grappling with on a soulful level about our own emotions, how much we value or devalue ourselves, there are plenty of people that get to stardom and they have
Oh, absolutely.
those kind of issues in there. But as I said, it's a different topic for a different day, but that just kind of,
Right.
you know, I currently know somebody who's in a similar situation and encouraging this person that open up, be who you are, because no matter where you go to, you're still going to be there. So embrace your soul, embrace your destiny. So, yeah. But with a law of attraction, we have to be able to visualize, like you were saying too, and what would it feel like to be there, to be happy,
Right.
to feel whole, being within that space. Oh, that feels good.
Good.
Okay, all right. So, let me just check the time. All right, so I think we're close. I forgot to set the timer originally, but I think we probably still have another minute or two if somebody else has something you'd like to add. 2 choices.
My choice is to say how much I love Soulspirational and all the beautiful, awesome people.
I love you.
I love you all so
Yeah,
much.
I know.
And this place has changed my life, my life inside. And Tish, we love Tish. I mean, she's our leader, our spiritual leader, but everyone here, so much joy. I mean, just thinking of you guys, I just love you so much. I mean,
There's a lot of love here.
thank you.
There's always a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
love.
what it's all about. It really is.
Sure made a difference in my life.
Changed mine completely.
Are you guys gonna make me cry? And that's why I choose to keep going, because this type of love and support and
Yeah.
all right, I don't want to cry on camera. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we all influence our area, our little area of sphere of influence by our own attitude, our personalities and all of this, you know. And like I said, this society is structured like a pyramid. And sometimes those at the top don't make the decisions that are very conducive to those on the bottom. And then you have to influence it inside your little corner. And that's exactly how that works.
And in this little corner right here, it's nice and bright and loving and yes. And that's what's so awesome too, is because then we get to take this joy, this love, this community, fellowship, I keep hearing you, fellowship, 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 out into our days, our day and into the days ahead.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
That's right, that's right, lovers are gonna love.
Lovers
That's
gonna love.
So, with that, I am going to close down the episode here in a moment. We're probably going to have a few more moments of discussion, and then we are going to go into meditation, and we're going to share in some lovely prayers and affirmations before we end our day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the episode today. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here, be it on or off camera. You all, in your own ways, truly just brighten my life, my world. And I'm just so grateful to have you here and to grace each and every one of us on Soulful Sunday. If you at home have any questions or if you'd like to join us for Soulful Sunday, please feel free to visit our website at soulspirational.com, or you can head over to meetup.com and just search for Soulspirational Wellness, and then in the city, search for Wadsworth. So until next time, thank you, be well, and namaste.